Hi everybody, it's Salesforce Jen and I like to talk about Experience Cloud. And today I'm specifically talking to you about an LWR or a Lightning Web Runtime site. That is a site where you need to have more experience in developing and coding to be able to do it. Today I'm not going to show you how I created it. You can see that in other videos. If you watch my header video, you can see how I do some of the things that I'm doing today. I'm just specifically going to talk about the footer. And if you look at my portfolio, the footer is at the very bottom. Okay. And this is how you're going to create this. So in each site, it's going to be done a little differently. So on a Lightning Web Runtime site, you're going to get a blank canvas when you open up, but you have this area at the bottom you can see is for a footer. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to your footer when you're ready. Make sure you've styled it ahead of time so you know what you're doing. You're going to click on that. And when I click on that, that brings me to this section because this is considered a section. So some things you should know is that a section has 12 parts. So if you look to the right, let me move this section component over. You're working with 12 sections or 12 spaces. So you kind of have to imagine in your mind if this was divided in 12, okay? So the reason I say that is you can create columns. So if I wanted to create a second column for some reason, what it does is it divided it evenly, 6 sections and 6 sections here. And maybe I want to pull this over here to make a smaller section here and a larger section here. However you want to do that, and you can add your number of sections, and then you can kind of go through the bottom and see if you want to add other things. I typically do not add an image on the bottom. It doesn't necessarily look very good. And I'll show you a couple different ways. And also in the column arrangements, you can actually have your columns stack on each other. So I just changed that. So maybe I've got different things going on. Maybe I have 3 columns and I'm going to put 3 different types of things. Let's just start with one right now. So the first thing that you can do is there's a lot of different ways you can order this. This particular one down here, I used an HTML component. And if you go to the top of my site, go to the menu and go to build your brand, you can see on here social media links in a footer. That's how I set up. I just followed the directions to set this up. And you can adjust the CSS. It's different in an LWR site. So we're going to talk about that specifically. So one of the easiest ways is we could just grab an HTML component. So from the top left where the lightning bolt is, click components, and let's just type in HTML and grab an HTML editor. I'm going to drag that and put it in the spot. Then I can simply type out HTML and put it in there to start. It does not support all the tags. It does not support like body and style tags. You just have to basically use some pretty basic HTML. So I am going to paste some in there. So I'm going to click on the HTML editor, which opens up this component, edit markup. Okay. And I'm just going to paste something super simple. I'm creating just a background with some lettering. Okay. So if I go to that, you can see at the bottom, I've created a pink background that says this is my footer. Okay. Now you can make it more fancy, put more coding in, whatever you want. But for this, we're not going to do that. So then we're going to go to style. So here you can adjust things. So first of all, the margins, okay? Top, right, bottom, and left. I can either do pixels, REM, or percentages. I like to do REM because that makes it more, it tends to resize dynamically better on devices. So let's just say REM, I'm only going to put 1, okay? And I made them all equal, so you can see it's got, if we hit preview, that space around it. And if I go up here and I review it in a mobile, I can see what it's done. It's quite a big space there, and go back to tablet or desktop, and I can adjust that. So let me click on, let's go back to the builder and click on this again, go back to style. And so I'm just not going to put anything there. I don't want anything there. I can adjust the padding, pixels, rem. So we say 25 pixels, and then it adds padding. Okay, so the padding is all around it, but I don't want to do that right now. Custom CSS, if you upload a static file, you can call to it here and then name your classes. But right now we're not going to do that. So I just wanted to show you could do that. If you don't want to work with an HTML editor and And again, I think you should know this if you're coding. I can make this really thick. If you've ever seen a footer on some sites where they're thick and they have logos, I can do all that with my HTML if I want. But for this one, I didn't. So I'm just going to delete that and show you what happens if we go over here and let's make 3 columns, okay? We'll make, and I want them horizontal, and I want to make this one kind of small, and maybe this one kind of small, and then just put a bunch of content in here. So what I could do now that I have 3 areas, and first of all, in column 1, I can do 1 or 2 things. I can grab the logo, a site logo, and put it down here. So now it's just got a filler. But if I clicked on this, it brings up this component here. And I can select an image from my CMS. Now, if you've never set up the CMS, you're not going to be able to use an LWR site. Go to my video for headers, and it'll show you what I did to do that. But I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to select an image. I had already uploaded it, and I'm going to put it there. Okay? So now I want a logo there. This middle section, I'm going to put a rich text editor. Let's go up here, type in rich, or rich content editor, put that in there, and that's like any document in Word. I'm going to click on it, and I'm back in my section. See how it says section? That's just the section. Go to my rich content editor, click on it, and hit edit content, and then I've got all the WYSIWYG editor information here. This is a footer, and it's just a sample, and you can do anything you want with rich text. So I'm going to say I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to take, it's being finicky right now. Let me pop out of this, jump back in, hit edit content, and see if it's going to allow me. I'm trying to highlight it and do it, but it's not letting me. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to say I want it bold. I don't know why I took some of it bold. Doesn't seem to be grabbing all of it. There we go. It just wasn't highlighting it where I could see it. I could add text, images, whatever I want. I could add some logos or some links, like LinkedIn and icons like this. Okay. And then say on the right, I want to put something a little different. Maybe in this right one, I have something a little different. I want to do some HTML again. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to drag it in. And I'm just going to use the same HTML from earlier to make it easier. There we go. Preview. And this is my footer. I've got a logo and this random stuff over here. I could take this, I could drag it over here. Maybe I don't like the way it is. Preview it here. Now it looks really silly, doesn't it? And I can delete this. There we go. There's my footer. I could preview it and say, okay, now I want to put a button over here instead for some reason. I don't generally see buttons down here, but you could. So I'm going to drag the button, put it in here, and then when I click on the button, I'll be able to decide what I want to do. We'll say we put an external link, and I set it up. And remember, I have all these other things in here I can fool around with. And now we have a button that says donate now. And if someone were to click on it and I had an external link, it would go to the external link. So that's how you do the footer. It's pretty easy. You get a lot more control, but you probably want to know how to code to do a better job than I did in this video. So let me know if you have any questions.